So today we're looking at the Mad Professor Royal Blue Overdrive pedal. This is not a brand new pedal, it's been out for quite a few years, but the brand Mad Professor has been undergoing something of a renaissance in the past couple of years. They're under new ownership, they have new pedals, new amps and new ideas, and they're really pushing some of the old classics. And that includes the Royal Blue, it includes the likes of the Cymbal, and I've got a video on the new Cymbal Mark II if you'd like to see that elsewhere. That's a brilliant Dumble style of overdrive pedal. And then of course you've got that absolute classic that is the Sweet Honey low gain transparent overdrive. Now the Royal Blue kind of sits a little bit between those two, and when I got to try the brand new Handwired version of this very briefly at 42 Gear Street 7 last year, video of that on the Mad Professor channel if you'd like to see that, I was sort of led to believe that the Royal Blue was something akin to a Paul Cochrane Timmy, so it would do that transparent overdrive type of thing, but it would do a lot more as well. And that's exactly the impression that I got in the 5 or 6 minutes that I spent with the pedal. And this, the standard Royal Blue Overdrive, should do the same thing, and I'm hoping that it sounds just as good as the hand-wired version. But that's what we're going to find out in this video. I'll play the pedal for you in as many different musical styles as I possibly can with humbucking and single coil pickups, and hopefully by the end you'll know whether or not you want to consider adding one of these to your pedal board. Let's go first into the specs and features then. Well, as you can see, we've got 4 main knobs on the Royal Blue, which isn't blue by the way. The current iteration is purple, which is kind of weird, but that doesn't matter whatsoever, does it? So we've got a volume control, a drive control, a bass control and a treble control. So a 2-band EQ going on here, volume and drive, very self-explanatory. And the 2 EQ controls, the bass and the treble, are very powerful affairs, and they're actually cut, boost, shelving type EQs. And Mad Professor tell us that the treble control in particular works rather like a presence control on a tube amp would, and it's actually not going to get in the way of your treble control either. So if you've got a bright amp already, you can turn up the treble control on the Royal Blue and it's going to act more like a presence control and not get you too top-endy, too ice-picky. But we'll put that to the test in the playing part of the video. And we also don't have a dedicated mids knob on the Royal Blue. However, Mad Professor tell us that we can sort of manipulate the mids by turning the 2 EQs in unison. So if we whack them all the way up to the top, well, we're going to get a scooped sort of a sound. That's going to be probably better for high gain sort of stuff. And if we turn them both down under 12 o'clock, we're going to get a little bit of a mid hump going on as well. Not quite Tube Screamer territory, but that kind of thing. So the Royal Blue promises to be an extremely versatile overdrive in that sense, and we're going to put it to the test in a minute. Otherwise though, it's a very simple affair. You've got side mounted jacks on the pedal and you can power it via a standard 9-volt battery or via a standard 9-volt power supply. Now as of time of filming in early 2026, the Royal Blue Overdrive will set you back about 180 euros, maybe something in the region of $200 or something like that. So it's not the world's cheapest pedal, but it's not the world's most expensive pedal either. So this is the Royal Blue Overdrive by Mad Professor Electronics, and what we're going to do next is play it. So I'm going to play a bunch of riffs in as many different musical styles as I can, and afterwards, to really test those controls and the versatility of the Royal Blue, I'll get a little bit of a loop going on. We'll really twist the knobs and see how versatile this pedal is. So my rig for today is going to be my Hughes & Kettner Black Spirit 200 amplifier. We'll be running the Royal Blue into the front end. It's going to be on the clean channel on a pretty neutral setting with just a smidgen of reverb going on as well, although we will test the pedal going into the amp on a crunchy setting to see how it goes into a cooking amplifier as well as a bit of a dirty boost, but we're mostly going to be on the clean channel. Now for a guitar, I'm going to be using my trusty 2025 Ibanez AZ Standard, the HSS model. So we've got humbucking pickups, coil splits, true single coil pickups. Basically any guitar tone under the sun is available with that guitar. So we're really going to get to hear the true versatility and the true tonal advantages and maybe disadvantages of the Royal Blue. Timestamps to everything are going to be in the description and comments if you'd like to skip to a certain musical genre that you'd like to hear with the Royal Blue. But enough chatter, let's play it now and we'll speak in a bit more detail about it afterwards. Okay then, so that was the Mad Professor Royal Blue Overdrive pedal, and I hope you enjoyed the playing, the riffs and the tones. Please leave me a comment down there telling me what you think of this pedal. Do you see the Royal Blue as just being a transparent overdrive? Is it something you could use in your rig? Do you think it would stack well with others? And how does it match up to something like a Timmy or a Greer Lightspeed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments as usual, and I look forward to getting a bit of a discussion going. But now it's time for me to tell you my thoughts and opinions about the Royal Blue, and I had extremely high expectations for this pedal because of course I'd played the Handwired version briefly last year, and if this one was getting anywhere close to it, well, I was going to be a huge fan. You guys know that I love my transparent overdrives. I love playing indie and alternative rock at kind of lower edge of breakup sort of levels, and straight away with everything at 12 o'clock, well, the Royal Blue absolutely delivers. It's a lovely, sparkly, meaty sounding drive, and it does do the transparent thing, but it does way more besides. So if you want that transparent Timmy sort of a boost with this pedal, you can get it, but you can do more too. And like I said, when I turned everything on at 12 o'clock, I was fine straight away, no problem. I could live with that, no problem whatsoever. Now I did find that we've got a very powerful EQ here, and that for me personally, with the drive at about 12 o'clock, with the treble edged up to about 1 or 2 o'clock, and the bass backed off to about 10 o'clock, that was where it just works for me and my amp, and for the specific Ibanez AZ standard that I was using today. I could use that setting forever. Fantastic for lower gain stuff, fantastic for push clean stuff, for indie rock, for alternative rock, and for classic rock as well. That just worked really well for me, and I found that I could edge the gain control down a little bit or up a little bit, and those EQ settings just worked for everything that I would personally do. So I was really happy with the pedal in that sense. It's a great sounding thing, and it's extremely quiet in operation as well. I even found that when I had the drive all the way up, well, it's not that noisy at all, and you would expect that from a brand like Mad Professor, but good to know that the standard version is just as quiet as the Handwired version too. Now if you reduce the drive to about 9 o'clock or below and wind the volume up a bit, well, you get a great clean boost with this pedal as well, and that's where the EQ is also a great thing to have. And you could, if you wanted to, use the Royal Blue as a clean boost EQ sort of a pedal. It's fine for doing that as well. Now in terms of higher gain stuff, as I edged up the gain control, I tried to play some heavy rock stuff, some hard rock, some pop punk and stuff like that, and you can do it with the Royal Blue going into a clean amp with a bridge humbucker. It's not quite there for really meaty, fast, palm muted chugging, and it won't do proper metal or anything like that, but it gets close, and using this as a boost into a dirty amplifier, you could easily get there if you wanted to. One thing I would say is that the more I wound up the gain, I found that I really had to boost the treble quite a lot to get a cutting tone, and by contrast I had to really reduce the bass to keep out some kind of boominess in the low end and some flubbiness, but it really worked for me. And I did find at some points, and you'll have heard that and seen that as well, that with the gain all the way up, the treble all the way up, and the bass all the way down, it does some pretty decent hard rock sounds as well. And if you want to hear the true versatility of this pedal, go to the loop again, see my sort of knob twiddling going on, and you can really hear just how many musical genres you can get to do with the Royal Blue. So in terms of tones, this is a fantastic sounding pedal, and it's extremely versatile as well. I could imagine pairing this with one of my favourites, like the Greer Lightspeed, like the Timmy, or like the JHS Morning Glory. I could really get a brilliant double stacking thing going on and use both for different but slightly subtly similar flavours of overdrive. So that's something I might do on this channel in future, so watch out for that if you'd like to see that in the next few weeks. Now otherwise, what do I like about this pedal? Well, it's built fantastically, it feels like an absolute tank, this thing is not going to break. Now the price, €179 at time of filming. It's not the cheapest overdrive pedal in the world, nor is it by far the most expensive overdrive pedal in the world either. So if you want the tones that you've heard in this video, I think it's going to be 100% worth it in that regard. So there's a whole lot for me to like about the Royal Blue Overdrive. What don't I like so much? Well, there's one thing that I would change if I could, and it's something that you get if you spring the extra money for the hand-wired version, and that is that you've got side-mounted jacks on this pedal, and I'd prefer if I could to have top-mounted jacks because that just saves a little bit of pedalboard real estate. Not a huge problem, but because you get it on the hand-wired version, it's something I'd like to see on the standard version too. And again, to go back in terms of the price, €179, yes, there are more affordable overdrive pedals out there, but the Royal Blue does something a little bit different, and if you want it, I again would reiterate that I think it's going to be 100% worth it. However, if you've been watching this video and you like the idea of the Royal Blue, but you're wondering what else could be out there that could give you a similar sort of response, well, you could look at the other Mad Professor versions of this pedal. There's the hand-wired version, which I've mentioned a couple of times, and that one is about €330 at time of filming, but that's a fully handmade jobby with higher quality parts used, and those all important top-mounted jacks as well. And recently, in 2026, Mad Professor have brought out the custom version of the Royal Blue pedal, and that's going to be slightly differently voiced, and it's going to be voiced a bit more towards the direction of the now discontinued Mad Professor Bluebird overdrive pedal. That's going to be a bit more fatter, a bit more high gain than this pedal. It's going to have a bit of a mid scoop and a bit of a bass boost as well, so a slightly different flavour, and it's going to be 20 euros more as well, but worth checking out if you're into this sort of ballpark thing. And if you love that whole transparent overdrive kind of thing, well, look at the rest of my channel. There are so many different transparent overdrive videos going on there, including one that I did recently where I shot out the big four of the King of Tone, the Greer Lightspeed, the Paul Cochrane Timmy, and the JHS Morning Glory. Those are all going to be excellent different versions of this kind of a pedal, but again, slightly different in their DNA too. And if you want to look for something cheaper, you could go for something like the rather excellent Noble's ODR Mini 2. That is a fantastic low and medium gain overdrive with a bass cut knob, a fantastic addition to that pedal. Or you could go for a wild card in the form of the Electro Harmonics Crayon. That's a fantastically underrated, under $100 overdrive pedal as well, and I highly recommend you check that one out if you ever get the chance. Or you could save even more money and go for something dirt cheap like the Kaleen Pure Sky. That is a fantastic drive too, as is the similarly cheap NUX 65OD. So many different options when it comes to lower gain and transparent sorts of overdrives. Do you want to have a clon type overdrive? Do you want to have a blues breaker? And so on and so on and so on. What you really need to do is head down to your local music store, try out as many of these sorts of pedals as you can, and hopefully you'll leave with the one that most suits you and your own playing and tonal style. But at the end of the day, if you're looking for a fantastic new old overdrive pedal in 2026 that's going to give you that transparent overdrive thing, a great amp-like response, dynamic touch sensitivity, and a lot more than the transparent overdrive thing too, well, I can highly recommend the Royal Blue Overdrive by Mad Professor. I would also highly recommend, if you get the chance, that you try out the custom version or even the Handwired one if you really want to go boutique, because they're going to be very similar sounding things and they're all going to perform fantastically as well. In terms of build quality, this is great. In terms of tones, this is great. In terms of the price, you choose if you think it's great or not, but for me, it's 100% worth it. So 2 thumbs up for me for the Royal Blue Overdrive. I may be shooting this out against some other overdrives on my channel in future, so make sure to sub if you'd like to see those in future. And if you have any more questions about the Royal Blue, feel free to ask me in the comments and I shall do my best to answer you. But that's been it for today's video. Please give me a like and a sub if you're still here, and if you'd like to watch some similar videos about similar transparent overdrive pedals, well, there should be some appearing on the screen right about now. But I've been Rich, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.